up, gang? Welcome back to another episode. Today I sort of want to just talk a bit more about the importance of a good mindset, right? So I was reading a book a while back called How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole something. I'll probably leave it in the description, okay? Um, Really good book. I highly recommend it. It basically talks about, healing past trauma and how to sort of better yourself from, learning how things in the past might affect you now, how, certain things that we picked up as kids still carry on into adulthood or just throughout your life, and how even the smallest things, they still have like an impact, how to actually like heal yourself from that, and then, moving forward, what to do like when you have kids of your own and how to treat them. So, because like some things are just inevitable to happen, everyone has to go through a little bit, but there's certain unnecessary things, like usually for people that like aren't educated on that, it's just generation after generation of just the same, almost like trauma being passed down. And so when it ends up with you, you've read the book and you know what goes on, then you can maybe not necessarily stop it, but at least minimize it, or like minimize like the bad parts, because there's some things I'll always carry on, like how your parents act, you'll always pick up on that. That's just inevitable. That's just how people work in general. So yeah, that book, very good book. I highly recommend. I'm gonna leave a description or just the name of the name of the book in the description, not the description of the book, in the description, that you can just find yourself. And I just gave it to you. But basically in that book, it would talk a lot about things. I wanted to focus more of like the mindset part of it, because that I found really interesting and actually applicable, which is your mindset, without a doubt, most important thing, okay? So basically it talks about placebo and nocebo. Obviously we all know probably what placebo is, placebo being, for example, they'd give patients like these antidepressants. They're actually just sugar pills, and then the patients would say that they actually felt better, even though there wasn't any actual like medication or medical, what's the word, appliance to it. I don't know. And nocebo is basically like the opposite of that. Like I remember that in the book they showed this one example of this patient, right? He got diagnosed with some type of cancer, and he said he had like 3 months left to live. He died a few weeks later, but then in the autopsy they found that there was actually like no traces of any sort of cancer or anything like that. Like that's, like, I'm gonna be honest, I was reading that and I was like, that's a bit like, I'm not sure, right? So basically with that, it's almost like the way you think and your mind basically projects your reality, right? You think good things happen to you. You think bad things happen. And also made me think, like, in my life, I know sometimes I'd be in like a bad mood and I'd see any like a neutral situation, I'd see it badly, and then it becomes really bad. All right, sorry, gang, got a little interrupted. But yeah, I'll have the situation in my head, and just because of my mood, it becomes like a bad situation, or even let's say there is a bad situation going on, but I'm just like in a really good mood, or I'm thinking really positively, and then it gets better. I see that a lot in my life. I don't know if you've seen it in yours, but it's something that you definitely should like try to do more, like in your day-to-day life. Like next time you feel something like negative, like I don't know, example, like, well, it's summertime. I was gonna use like like let's say you have a bad test score or something like that. You know, you should always try to look at it in a positive way. Like, yeah, you bombed the test, but there's more tests out there. You still have a chance to make up for that, and you can still, there might be other ways. You can work harder in the class for like more classwork. If there's a chance for extra credit, I know in my school we don't really have extra credit. You can do that. You could always discuss with the teacher what you did wrong, you know, and find out where your weaknesses are. You know, take look at how you studied for this test, and then see, okay, I studied this way and I messed up the test. Maybe if I study this way, I can do better. Stuff like that. And just, it's really just a matter of, you want to make sure that you're always in the right headspace, okay? Because negativity doesn't help out anyone, okay? You can't be going around life just being like a bum, just being all sad and being all angry at everything. Like, I feel like if that's how you go about your life, maybe you have some underlying mental, like just like overall mental health issues, and saying that makes it sound like, oh, you're just like saying that itself, sounds kind of bad, but in all reality, that might be what it is. Maybe you just need to take a step back from everything, because I feel like when you're on the internet as much, you see all this information, all this bad stuff going on, all this and that, you know, you just start to think like, man, all that negativity is embedded inside of you, and so you need to learn how to like mitigate that. Not let that negativity overflow the positivity in your mind. You want to make sure you can still go about. Sorry, my elbow. You can still go about life, with a positive mindset, and go about life achieving the things that you need to achieve. All right, I'm back. Got my notes with me. This is another topic. I don't know. Maybe I can make this its own separate video, but I feel like the one thing school has actually done somewhat okay is just teaching us how to take notes, and even that is just like not the greatest way. I feel like the way they, or at least for me personally, the way they taught me how to teach notes is just like, oh, teacher shows something on the board, you just copy it down, not much thought behind it, okay? But like the way I take my notes when it comes to like reading stuff is you want to see, like when you learn something, you want to like actually bridge. It's like so you have this thing, okay, that you just learned. Like let's say, there was this quote in there. I think it was said, "When we change our relationship with our thoughts, we change the cascade of emotions that floods our bodies and persuades us to act in certain ways." The fuck does that mean again? My bad. Hold on. So basically, what that means is you and actually I explained what that meant. That meant in the next few sentences below that. It was like, this is why having a negative thought about something ruins your entire mood, as it floods your body with this emotion, and then with that emotion causes you to do bad things. Basically, if negative thoughts, even if you're in a good mood, the more negative thoughts build up in your head, the more of that emotion just starts to like go through your entire body. It's kind of like, how like you ever seen those houses? They're like maybe like the sink is running, it starts overflowing, then it starts leaking through the roof. It starts leaking through the roof into the lower floors. It's kind of like that. You have all that negativity building up, and then it just starts leaking and leaking. But that wouldn't have happened if you would have just drained it properly, or turned it off practically. And so yeah, that was a bit of a side tangent. But like you really, it's really just about making sure that what you think is positive. You face some sort of adversity in your life, you want to make sure you don't go about it thinking, man, why does this always have to happen to me? Why is this happening to me? Like, why, man, this is horrible. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, there will be things that are horrible, but if you just say that and you say, like, honestly, it's really just about saying like, fuck it, we ball as much as you can, to be honest. Like, I think that's probably one of the best ways you can go in life, because you say that and you just look on the positive, and then you just move, like what like realistically, what else can you do? You can sit and sulk over the situation, or you can actually move on from it, become something. But looking back at my notes, I mean, we already talked about placebo and nocebo. Well, and this is this is another thing from the book. It's talking more about making actual change. And I guess in this part, it was talking about how people tend to like subconsciously move through their life, which is why people aren't able to make the necessary change that they need to. And so the ultimate way to sort of actually invoke change in your life, you need to do new things, okay? You need to try something new. You need to change up your routine and your habits. You can't go back to your old habits, okay? The reason people do, and the reason that's why a lot of people relapse on addictions and stuff like that, because they're used to it. You have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is like really cliche and like very annoying, probably common to say, but that's the truth of it, okay? In order to make change, you need to do things that you haven't done before, or in a routine that you haven't done before. Like me recently, for like the past like few weeks, I have this like notebook up here. Hold on. Let me show y'all. So like I have this notebook over here. Every day that goes by, I try to like write down my goals and stuff, you know, and if I achieve them, I put like a check. If I don't, I put an X. And you know, you guys can try something like that. You guys can also try like what I did last night actually. I I was sitting down in my bed and I was thinking, okay, tomorrow's gonna be a Saturday. I don't think I have much planned. Let me write out a timetable, right? And this timetable is gonna sort of be like a just like a I mean, like I'm gonna try to stick to it as close as I can. But obviously, some days something might happen. Some days something might be planned or whatever. So that's a different story. But you know, I want to stick to it best I can. And it's just like 7 a.m. wake up, 7:20 leave for the gym because it's like a 10-minute walk to my gym. Um, Leave from the gym at 8:30. Come home at 8:40, shower and get ready. And by like 9, I take quick showers. 9, I don't know, have breakfast. 9:15, meditate like that. That's just like some of the stuff starting off. Sorry about that. And you can sort of adjust that to your life, you know, however you move. And yeah, you know, just try new things if you want to actually invoke change in your life. Um, you know, it also just move back to that positivity and negativity mindset. You know, what you think, it if you think it enough, it will come to fruition. Like you know, I always cringe at the idea of manifestation, but that was sort of like the I cringed at the idea of it, like people, you know, starting to use crystals and incense sticks and writing it, like not writing it down per part, but like the more witchcraft part of it. The idea of having a goal, you write it down. You know, I have a goal. I have it written all over my room. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 places in one room, and you know, and I have it as like 5 widgets on my phone. Like I have that goal imprinted in my mind. Like it's everywhere, you know. And so I truly believe that the more you think about something, it will come, positive or negative, as we talked about with placebo and nocebo. You know, you think good things are gonna happen, you take these sugar pills, you think that they're gonna cure your depression, it will happen. You know, you think you have cancer and you think you're gonna die in 3 months, you will, even though you didn't have anything. You know, all this stuff. The more you think of it, um, like, but it's not just you can't just think of it and then just think it's gonna happen. Like think it's just gonna come to you. You know, like certain goals. Like let's say you have a goal of like I don't know, you want to get this car, or oh, you want to get a new phone, you want to make the team, you want to do this, that. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do whatever, write it down a million times, and then just not work for it. You know, you also have to work for it. That's what I'm doing with the goals all over my room. Like, yeah, they're written down, but I work towards it every day. Work towards it every day, day in and day out. Like that's really what it is. You know, continuing in that book, you know, skipped a few chapters in the middle. I didn't feel like they really applied to me personally, so like skim through them. I mean, it's a good book. Don't get me wrong, and maybe some of it might help you. Just me personally, just didn't. It didn't resonate with me on any level. Um, Next part that I really remember sticking out to me was parts about emotional maturity and immaturity. You know, and I do feel like this sort of helps with your mindset because it talks about learning how to cope with your emotions. You know, and I do feel like that helps a lot with your mindset when it comes to placebo and nocebo, which is you want to make sure that you can actually cope with your emotions properly, and so they're not just built up in your head as the day goes on, as the week goes on, as your life goes on, you know. So there are proper ways that you want to cope and handle it, and if you don't, you know, then that's what leads to like problems later down the line, you know. Like you think small things don't add up, but they really do. If you found a quarter on the sidewalk every day and you saved it up for like a year, that'd be like what, almost $90 probably like $90, yeah. So it's the stuff adds up, you know. And it's just like I feel like I've said it a lot and a lot and a lot, but it's really just your mindset. Like you want to make sure, and you really have to work on it, not letting your emotions cloud up your thought, okay, and remaining positive through thick and through thin. You know, like you want to make sure that you're just going through life, and Will it be a little fake positive? At first, maybe. But once you just get used to it, you just start to see everything that way, and that's what you need, you know? And, but back to emotional immaturity. It says it's the result of people not understanding how to cope with their emotions, like I just said, you know. And some of the things that it leads to is like slamming doors, silent treatment, etc. That's just like some examples. But you see, like you can see the slamming doors and the silent treatment. That's just what happens when you let those emotions cloud you up, and then you have those emotions through you, and they start to seep out into other people. You know, you start slamming doors, you start making other people upset. This is a common domino change. This is a common cycle, you know, or it's a constant cycle and a constant chain. And on a larger scale, it can go through generations. On a smaller scale, it can just go through people near you. And so one of the ways to sort of deal with that is you want to, it's called the 90-second principle, I think that's what it's called. And you want to just, when you have like a strong surge of those emotions, like let's say something happens, I get like really angry or I get like really upset or something, you know, you just want to sit for like 90 seconds, sort of just like meditate on it, because what happens when you face like a real stressor is that I don't know what it was called. Is it written anywhere? It's not. But it was like some chemical in your body, you know, it spikes, and so your body's no longer at homeostasis. But if you just chill out for about 90 seconds, you know, or 90 seconds, 2 minutes, just like chill out, breathe, meditate for a second, really just like try to keep calm, then your body will return to homeostasis, and any problem that's still remaining after that sounds bad, but it's really just you refusing to move on from it. Like that's what it sounds like. It sounds like, what do you mean? It's just me refusing to move on. That's really what it is. You know, if you actually, once you actually face any sort of adversity and you actually try this out, you realize I was just overreacting the whole. Like I wanted to be upset about something. You know, I can say myself too. Like I used to do that all the time. I still probably do. You know, but that it's really important that you just take those 90 seconds and just sit, just calm down. You know, but yeah, I think that's a video for today. Again, you just want to make sure you're always walking through life with a positive mindset, positive attitude, and yeah, that's it for today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It's Barth. See ya.